my library, the graph of this item, the Hugo too. They all need to be introduced because they're special in their own way. This is the Tanchjim Oxygen. Let's get right to what is not ideal. The stem length of this is so short that I spent an abnormal amount of time tip rolling so that this would stay in my ear. Not for like best fit or just stay in my ear when I shake my head or move left or right. That they wouldn't stay in. When they do stay in, and when I do have a good fit, these are something that sound virtually identical to the Kansas Pro, which is in my top 5. And for its price is probably the best you can get dollar to performance. And this is right on that. But it's this short stem is an issue. The cable is crap. This chin slider doesn't work. And the cable is the kind where these bends will never change. That's the way it is. So it's garbage. So somebody that says that this thing has no cons, you just gotta look for like a minute. You can find them, man. And if you listen to these for a period of time, and the foamies will start to squeeze themselves out of your ear. That's an unusual occurrence for me. Because when I use foams, it's always like a certain, like that, I'll get a fit with that. With this, it's so short that eventually the foam starts to squeeze its way out of your ear canal. So fit is close to a disaster with this set. Sound, I'm only 2 minutes in, so give me a break, is really, really, really good on this. Going to my playlist and looking at what I got in here, you can see it through the screen, or no, you can't. Well, there you go. You could full screen and zoom if you want. These are the songs that I use. Listening to these songs, the only thing that stood out to me is the one that's highlighted right now, which is called Whole Lotta Rosie. And the difference is, and I can't explain why, because the graphs are quite similar actually. They're harmonesque in the way the hump is in the treble, with no like unusual pinks prior to 8K or at 8K. There's a bass line in Whole Lotta Rosie that on the Kansas Pro sounds very good and very normal, and all the Fearless that I've been doing. On this set, they sounded kind of masked, the bass line, and it instantly jumped out at me. And I went and listened to other tracks and did not encounter anything like that. Everything else sounded really good with these. Vocals, if you could read my mind, Gordon Lightfoot. Is there a particular reason why album art's not coming out right now? Lyric is empty. I don't want lyric. That's weird. This track sounded good. All of the stuff that I listened to sounded good. The bass is good when it's supposed to be there. The vocals are nice. What is with the Gordon Lightfoot track? Okay, there it is. Thank you, Astel. Pay $2,900 for a gold Astel, and your album art is sometimes not there. You never get out of that. If you've got a DAP that's worth $300 and that has that problem, you never price yourself up to not have to deal with that little crap. So on all of the songs, a song like this with vocals sounds great. I actually really like this when I have a good fit. And I think people that were comparing it to Kanas Pro, I don't know all of the pluses and none of the minuses. Sounds like shut up dog. Sounds like a bunch of overstatements laid on other overstatements, but these sound really good. And I think that if somebody were listening to these in the Kanas Pro, they would be challenged to pick one. And I think the reason they might pick the KP is because of fit, because you can get it. They're both heavy. This is heavy, and the Kanas Pro is heavy. I don't think either one has a really great cable, but I think this cable sucks. Sound quality is fantastic with both. The difference maker between I'm going to have to go ahead and say that the Whole Lotta Rosie bass kind of masking is something that's I can't explain because it's not occurring in any of my other test songs. The only thing that would separate one of these from the other would be the fit problem, and the problem doesn't exist with the Moondrop, and it does exist with this. That's the way it is. That's the way it's gonna be, as long as this is the design. It would maybe be a good idea for them to redo this with a longer stem, just a little bit longer, and these would be something I would rec and say, you know, I think they're essentially the same thing. So pick one and be happy, because these sound fantastic and the Canas Pro sound fantastic. They literally graph very similar. You could put up two and say they got differences. They're going in the same flow. They sound like they're going in the same flow. Vocals sound similar. The bass sounds similar. The presentation of the treble sounds similar. The stage of the two. Somebody said that these had fantastic stage beyond. I think they're about identical. The difference between the two is the fit, and it would be this right here. So, do I wreck the item? No, because I think that it's like the Hibby R6. It needs a slight tweak. That was the output impedance of 10. They released the Pro, and that's got like a 1 or something, so it's normal now. This is something I would say. If they come out with an Oxygen 2, I would probably be trying to get that and then say, you know, go buy that. But this one I wouldn't. Sound is great. Fit is a legit issue when we're talking about things that we put in our fucking ears. And if there's a difficulty or there's something that's going to cause an issue with putting the things in our fucking ears, we got to consider that as to be a big deal. And I would consider that to be a big deal, because I dealt with it yesterday. Was very pissed off. Finally got a good seal with foams, and it started to squeeze itself out after a little while. I've never experienced that, but because the depth of the foam into my ear canal, because of the short stem, is really not that much, so it starts to migrate out. I've not had that happen before, so I got annoyed. Found a silicone set that finally worked, and it sounds good. Head movement is limited because it will start to dislodge this, so for my ears personally. Sound is great, build quality is good, design is a crippling problem that the company should probably consider. You go all that way, you do really, really good, and you mess it up with the stem. I think the cable's garbage, but in the day and age where most people have multiple cables, that wouldn't be something that I would say is a big deal. If you hate chin sliders that don't work, then this would piss you off like in moments of opening the box, just to look at that thing slide down. I don't give a shit personally, but people tell me repeatedly in comment section, I give a shit. So watch out for this thing. This'll piss you off. The stem, it's a shame. It is a very great sounding set. That was not hype. Or that was attempted hype, but just didn't gain traction. They graph very well. They sound really good, but to get there is dependent on the person, and there's likely many people that are never going to get the full joy of this set because of the fit. And that's my review. I spent most time talking about the nozzle because it's the biggest point that sticks out. Yes, it sounds good. Yes, it's a very good performing set. It is on the par and on the level of the Canas Pro. It suffers a debilitating issue that is not suffered by the KPE. I think these are more expensive also than the Canas Pro. So the cable is a ding. The chin slider doesn't do anything. The nozzle is a big issue. And all of this is a problem because this actually sounds good. If it didn't sound good, I don't know. I try to figure out ways to tell you that if you get this tip, and I would try to work a way to make it seem like if you did something, you'd get a better result. But if you pulled this out the box and put them in your ear, there's a lot of people out there that would be like, I can't get a good fit. And that would be a lot of the posts on forums. Can somebody wreck me tips because I can't find a good seal? I would predict that that would happen. So to not create that event, I'm not going to wreck this set. It sounds about the same as the Canas Pro. It does not fit on that level. So why would I pick this over that? I wouldn't. And again, the disclaimer that this company and the Canas Pro are both sold by Linsol that sends me stuff. Linsol does not have exclusive rights to either of the two sets. So I'm telling you that I think the Canas Pro is a better investment, but they can't do mass drops and they're not exclusive. And this set is exactly the same. They can sell this, but they don't have exclusive rights. So I don't benefit. There's no passing the money in another direction because that's, related to me. Legit concern. Neither one. And anybody in the Chi-Fi business knows that Linsol doesn't have the exclusive to this or the Canas Pro. But I'm talking to Canas Pro owners that might want to switch. Don't. I'm talking to people that might want to buy this because they want to get this or the Canas. I'm saying get the Canas. It doesn't matter. The company, they can make a bunch of money by doing mass drops or other stuff, is not associated to me at all. So it simply doesn't matter. This is just a set out of those two good sets, that and this would be the one that loses. So that's it. And I'm out. Ripping mics is the light of my life. You frontin' like you trifling, never pulled the heist.